This is FRECA from Imola. We are getting all set and ready for race 2 of the weekend. It has been quite the weekend so far with qualifying. And now it is time to get going with Akshay Bora starting on pole position. It is going to be quite a lot of fun. It's going to be quite a lot of action, hopefully, in this race. After it was poised to us yesterday of it being interesting. Let's hope it is actually interesting today. In the commentary box, my name is Omi. Delighted to be with you as well. Look how brilliant that is. Timings aren't up. Okay, well, I sorted that out. Let's head over to George Morgan.
So, Akshay, first pole position of the season for you after finishing third yesterday as well. How do you rate your chance of first win today?
Well, yeah, yesterday was a good day, and today if I want to win, I need to finish the race faster than everyone else, so it's the same thing.
Thank you.
So we are Akshay Bora, obviously looking for a bigger result this time after finishing third yesterday. Pole position, though, is a mighty start, 27 thousandths faster, as I said to Freddie Slater this morning. Minute gaps, and bear in mind, Bora's time was set in the first group that headed out for qualifying this morning here at Imola, when conditions you'd expect would be better for the following group. Slater wasn't quite able to do it, but we can head back down to the grid with Laura.
So in your home race weekend, and you are second in the championship. So how can you finish the race from third row?
Sorry, mi stavano parlando in radio.
Che è la tua terza gara.
Stavano parlando in radio.
Ho capito, quindi rispondimi pure in inglese. Che è la gara di casa e come puoi finire la gara? Sei secondo o sei terzo?
So yeah, we are starting from P5. We will try to do our best, trying to get some position, even if here in Imola it's not really easy to overtake, but we'll try our best to recover some points in the championship to take back the lead as soon as possible.
Thank you.
So Matteo De Parlo obviously coming in fifth on the grid, third row this time. Things are going to be a little bit tricky from there with Freddie Slater on the front row to try and counteract his attempts at winning the title. Obviously Matteo De Parlo second in the championship. Let's take a look at the start.
Here's your starting grid. Akshay Bora is on pole position next to Freddie Slater, who will go from second place. Deligny's in third and Nikita Bedrin goes from fourth. Deligny, of course, the winner of yesterday's contest. Freddie Slater lost second off the line yesterday, and that was vital for him. He regained it, but it wasn't enough to go challenge for the win. De Parlo's in fifth, then it's Clara, then it's Ricky Liu in seventh, and Evan Gilter is in eighth place on the grid. In ninth, it's Kasper Stuka. He's next to Jin Nakamura, who lost positions in the final stages yesterday. Rashid Al-Daheri is in 11th, and Michael Belov is in P12. The next four drivers on the grid are called Jack Beaton, he's in 13th, and then it's Taito Carter in 14th, Edu Robinson is in 15th, and Dion Gowda, the rookie winner so many times this season, is in 16th position on the grid. He loves getting on that podium. A little free trip for the podium, but he's been the top rookie across this year. Ian Ekimans is in 17th, Tim Gerhards is in 18th, Hayu Yamakoshi is in 19th, and Zachary David is in 20th position on the grid. After that, we are going to see Rui Hengye next to Nand Howard Biran Bhakti, and then it is going to be Kulkarni next to Kanat Ali, and then after that we are going to see Yaroslav Vasilaho, who is going to be starting alongside Giovanni Maschia. Then Javier Segueras next to Edward Bournier, and Saka Al-Masheri is at the back of the field. Okay, I think it's time to get racing, everybody. Let's have a bit of fun. There we go. Right camera screen. So, we are at Imola Circuit. It is not race 1. It is race 2. Love a little on-air correction. Oh, brilliant. It's the day we're having, everybody. It is. If you joined us in the Porsche Super Cup coverage earlier, you will know that this day has been going horrible. Absolutely horrible. Cars make their way through into Piratella. And they are going to be putting on a show, won't they? Well, that's what we hope. Down towards Acqua Minerale. As they navigate their way by. It is going to be Ashke Bora starting on pole. He's got a great opportunity. Sorry, I was just looking at something that just popped up on screen. Remember, we're covering events across multiple circuits this weekend. Or I am. But Freddie Slater's going to give himself a good opportunity, won't he? He's going to give himself a good opportunity to try and capitalize today on any drama that there might be. So how is this one going to play out then is my question. As they will make their way and line up on the grid for this race. I'm just trying to, without damaging my ears, I'm just trying to set this up. But this headset does not like being worn like this. So, how is this one going to play out? It's so uncomfortable. I'm trying to try out the technique, everybody. And I can't do it because of these headsets. Oh. Here we go. Hello. I'm trying to try out the technique where you take one headphone side off so you can actually hear yourself properly. I don't want to hear myself through the headset either. Anyway, sometimes the commentary can feel better from what I've been told by some people. So it's like I wanted to give it a go for this race, but I can't because of these headsets. So that's just brilliant. Okay. Let's line ourselves up on the grid, shall we? As you can tell, I've been having a very interesting day. But, we're not going to take that out on GB3. We're going to love GB3. We're going to enjoy a bit of GB3, won't we, everybody? Let's have a bit of fun, then. Let's see how this race is going to play out. They will be making their way by Enzo Deligny, lining up in position. In third, he's going to look to attack. Could we be about to see some wheel-to-wheel stuff? They are all on the grid. Final few cars are getting into position. This is going to be chaotic. This is going to be interesting. What a possible racing prospect this is. Here we go. Finally, after waiting for a while, that can stop. And the eyes can go to 5 red lights. Let's go racing in FRECA. Great start off the line from our pole sitter. Ashke Bora has got the getaway that he needs to maintain the lead of Freddie Slater, who's closing him in down to Tamburello chicane. It is going to be the RHGP driver maintaining the lead. Top 3 as they were, as they leave the line. Off into the gravel trap, being forced wide is going to be Imola. Big crash in the background there. And we've got an RPM car that has gone straight in the wall. I think that's Giovanni Maschio who has found the barrier. Yellow flags are flying immediately in this contest, and it was Jill Terra, I think, the driver forced onto the gravel. We've got cars everywhere. Altaheri's off the road as well. It's a wild opening lap to FRECA as we went going, and it's Giovanni Maschio out of the car. A huge accident, and we'll surely need the red flag, possibly, safety car, possibly a red flag. It will at least be one of the two, depending on the barrier damage there is down there, if any. That is an interesting start to the contest then. Not if your name is Giovanni Maschio, who did not last long at all. Safety car's out. I would not be surprised if it's a red flag. due to the tyre barrier. Right, let's go back to the start. We're going to lose Maschio early on, looking in the background. And he's going to go straight off and into the wall. Tyre barrier should be okay in that case. Tyre barrier should be okay. Looking at first glance. Looking at second glance, rather, at the incident. And there's Gilter that gets muscled out wide by Bedrin. And then he's left rejoining. And we have another car going off and then loses his front wing because of the bouncy curbs. Bouncy runoff, sorry, on the grass. So on the grass, it's quite bumpy on the grass, I should say. And he just loses all sort of momentum, and then Aldeheri goes off along with the Trident onto the grass there. That was wild stuff. Absolutely wild stuff. We are behind the safety car in FRECA. Let's hand it back over to George Morgan then, during the safety car period.
It's dropped well and truly towards the rear end of the field, so already pitting in is Kasper Stuka. No surprises as to why they'll have to replace that front wing on the car if the car's still in reasonable good shape. It looks like everything else is okay at the moment. Even the tyres managing to survive the wing going underneath the car, so that's somewhat good news for Stuka. It's now the G4 Racing team now look to put the new front nose cone on the G4 car, and Stuka will now make his way back out onto the track, straight into the pit lane, and will return to the circuit and join up with the rest of the field under the safety car. But a hectic start to this race, that's for sure. Jack Beaton not getting a bad start at all, I must say, inside the top 10 already, and he's giving Gilter a little bit of company. And I said to Beaton, I must say, felt a little bit defeated coming off the back of yesterday. And he's a polite soul that obviously wants to achieve more in his racing career, and no doubts he can. The young man from the Gold Coast just needs a good bit of luck to go his way, and you never know that today could be the day. Of course, was reprimanded, as we said at the top of the show, for the incident with Zachary David. David also not doing a bad job either. 16th place at the moment, gaining a few places, with Hiyu Yamakoshi just behind him. Rashid Aldehiri down in 18th as well at the moment. Really strong start, though, for Enzo Dellini, keeping Nikita Bedrin at bay. Bedrin was, of course, chasing him on the run down towards Tamburello. And just like that, the safety car confirmed by race control in this lap. So it won't take too long before we get back underway. And Jin Nakamura also getting a good start too, 7th place at the moment. Currently we've got 3 R-Race GP cars currently sat inside that top 7 at the moment, and Clero just ahead of Nakamura. Obviously had a great chance at obtaining an important podium for Van Amersfoort this weekend, and in actuality, with Enzo Dellini winning the race yesterday, Pedro Clero forfeiting 2 places to Freddie Slater, and also to the man who eventually finished 3rd, Akshay Bora, who leads this race right now. It now means that Enzo Dellini moves into 3rd in the championship. 4 points is all that separates Dellini and Clero right now. Dellini might have bigger ambitions on his mind, though. It will be a mountain, though, for him to climb to catch up with the likes of Freddie Slater here at this stage, with there only being 4 rounds in total to go. Of course, we head to Red Bull Ring next, with a trip to Barcelona awaiting us after that, with then Hockenheim for the penultimate round of the season, and Monza, of course, the home of the series, to bring an end to what has been a highly competitive 2025 campaign.
Thank you very much, George Morgan. I could not agree more. Let's get FRECA back on the road with a safety car restart. Ashke Bora leading Freddie Slater, leading Enzo Dellini and Nikita Bedrin and Matteo Di Paolo. Let's go racing once again. We make our way out of the Ravazza final corner, and we are green once again in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine, and a good restart there for Slater, who will be tucked in the slipstream and getting closer and closer to the RSGP driver that leads us over the line. Ashke Bora, P1 at the moment, trying to win his first ever race in FRECA, but Slater is going to be in contention. Down to turn 1, Slater going for the lead, around the outside, locks up, and he can't get through. Deligny maintaining 3rd position, but it's Ashke Bora, P1, then it's Slater. Are they all going to be able to get through? Just about. Looks like they've made it through in the first few corners of this restart, at least. Bedrin putting pressure on in P3, but it's going to be interesting to see how this one's going to go. Bedouin has a look as he tries to take P3. There's late on the brakes there for Evan Gilter. Down the inside he goes of Jin Nakamura, and Gilter runs Jin Nakamura out wide. Dramatic stuff between the two drivers as they went for it. Into Piratella we go. Beaton going for it, or attempting to at least, as he tries to get past Gilter. Good start for Beaton, and he's now trying to get past Jin Nakamura. Contact, and that will be hard into the wall for Jin Nakamura and Jack Beaton, who collide on the way down to Accra Minerale. It was so tight between the two of them, and their race will end in the barrier. What a disappointment for the pair. And we will surely be heading to another safety car in this race. And it was a good opening few laps of Beaton until that moment. Jin Nakamura having to defend, and big contacts made, and another safety car damage. Big damage there. Both cars beached, both cars out. Safety car out once again. Back over to George Morgan.
Kent, the young man from the Gold Coast, Jin Nakamura, also had an unfortunate day yesterday because the whole of he lost a wheel on the final lap coming into the checkered flag yesterday, and we saw him spiral down the order coming into the final corners at Ravazza as Jack Beaton opts out the car. Good to see that he's okay, at least for now. Probably feeling, though, understandably forlorn. Obviously, we'll have to have a look back at what happened there, because obviously it was hard to tell. Good to see Jin Nakamura out too. The two drivers coming together. R-Race GP meeting Bremer. Of course, the two teams do have a storied history, battling for championships. Of course, they've all had their fair share in the past. But as we now see the cars brought down to Delta, we'll take a look at the replay here and now. So it was side by side on the run down through towards Accra Minerale. Nakamura was in front, Beaton was on the attack. Eventually they touched. There was no space really given to the outside of the corner. Really nowhere really Beaton could have gone really, unless he decided to back out of it. So whether there's just been whether you can call that a racing incident, I think largely though Beaton, I'm not sure he had anywhere to go, but obviously I'll leave that to the stewards to decide. But it's always harum scarum coming into Accra Minerale, because the pinch point becomes very much apparent coming down into turn 30, well, coming down to turn 12 out of turn 11. So they didn't even reach turn 13. Accident happening just inside turn 12. So we watch Akshay Bora now coming through Piratella once more. And again, under safety car. But we are as we are in terms of the top five at the moment. Matteo De Palo, who achieved a P5 yesterday, back in P5 again today, as we now take a look at Hugh Yamakoshi, who's chasing after Eddie Robinson at the moment. Dion Gowda still leading the rookie classification here in this race so far, but he has got Ian Eichmans and Eddie Robinson, also part of the rookie classification, sat behind him as well. So we have got a pretty honest battle now between all three rookie drivers. Gowda currently sat P11, has obviously been capturing some of the mainstay points as well. Has had a good season with regards to that, and be hoping that he can pull out something similar this time around. And obviously with plenty of time left to go in the race, we've got just over 20 minutes still to go. Obviously still under safety car at the moment. I'd imagine we will probably be inside 18 minutes or so by the time it comes in. Obviously still awaiting confirmation from race control, but huge chances here for Gowda once more to deliver a solid points finish. His best weekend was back at Spa in race 2, where he captured 10 points and brought those back to the table. He, of course, achieved 4 points yesterday in race 1 for Van Amersfoort Racing. So now they come through the Ravazzas now, and we are inside the 20 minutes now left in the race, plus the 1 lap. Freddie Slater chasing that 6th race win of the season. Of course, if you're Akshay Bora, you're chasing your first. Already taking 3 podiums throughout the campaign, equal to the likes of Pedro Clero and also Rashid Al-Dahiri. And of course, another one, or should we say another win, or a first win for Akshay Bora. We'll also plant him on 4 podiums, aligned with his own teammate Enzo Tellini. As now they travel down through towards turn 1 once more. Akshay Bora just trying to get the heat into the tyres, ready for the remaining portion of the race that we do, of course, have. Plenty of it. Slater, obviously, waiting for his chance to strike. He might choose to do exactly the same as he did before. Obviously, fired the warning shot against Akshay Bora coming through towards Tamburello. I'm sure he'll be looking to commit to it the next time around. You only get so many warnings as far as he's concerned. Indeed, it was, just to say, the Trident driver had a little mishap right at the start. Nanavid Biram-Bakti, of course, dropping down through the order. He currently sits just ahead of Sakir Al-Mawshari at the moment, just behind Kanato Lay. Just bringing the cars down to Delta as the Alpine safety car takes them up through Tosa as well. Pedro Clero, obviously part of the Van Amersfoort team that have had some really solid weekends as well so far this season. Clero himself obviously coming into the championship over last year. Came 8th in the series last campaign with 2 podiums. This season has distinctly been a lot better. Of course, currently sat 4th in the championship after yesterday's outing here around Imola. Plenty more still to come from the young man from Brazil, based in Brasilia in Brazil as well. And incidentally, a 3-time Brasilia champion in 2018, 19 and 21, as well as winning the Brazil Open Cup in 2020 and 2021. Made his single-seater debut. Of course, the prize of that was karting, but a single-seater debut in 2022 in Brazilian F4, where he won the championship with 7 wins and 11 podiums. Spanish F4, he took part in 2023 with MP Motorsport, finishing 6th in the series, 2 wins at Spa-Francorchamps that weekend. And then the next year he would debut in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine with Van Amersfoort Racing, where he would meet that 8th place finish at the end of the series. Looking to go steps further this time and is definitely on trend to do so. Elsewhere, of course, we look at the trajectory that Matteo De Paolo's been on since he moved to Trident away from Santalok. Of course, last year finished 17th in the championship, with his best finish being 4th at Red Bull Ring. I remember that very clearly. It was actually a solid weekend, really, for all concerned at Santalok, because, of course, Enzo Peugeot was looking rather sharp there last season.
He was indeed, but who's going to be looking sharp on the restart? It is time to find out. How is this one going to go? 16 minutes, 20 seconds, and a lap to go. And it looks like Freddie Slater has got a good restart. Slater's got a good restart. And if Bora had to defend it a lot last time, then this time around, surely Slater will be alongside by the time we get down to Tamburello. We are debating P1 in the race, with Bora having to look in his mirrors and Slater closer than he's ever been before, having to go to the outside again, and Bora just blocks it for the moment. Bora maintains the lead, so it looked like Slater was initially closer, but in the second phase, Bora did enough, and Bedrin's got a chance to take P3. Bedrin with a chance. Can he dive to the inside of Villeneuve? No. Single file stuff through there. And they're all behaving themselves so far. Into Tosa we go. 15 minutes. Now, just over that, and a lap still remains in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Drew Piratella. Turned out to be quite a dramatic day, hasn't it? And now, can you forge your way past, is my question. If you are Freddie Slater, are you able to push your way through and push your way by into Acra Minerali? Slater is looking really, really quick. He's looking like a driver who could be about to go for the move and take the lead. Into Ravazza we go. Prema versus RHGP. If we go back to a few moments ago, it was Jin Nakamura and Jack Beaton collided. The teams they drive for, Prema and RHGP respectively. So, just putting it out there, that has already been drama between Prema and RHGP, and we've got 2 RHGP cars in the top 3 as well. And then you get to the Santalok of Bedrin, and then the Trident of Matteo Di Paolo, who will really need something if he wants to enter himself into championship contention. Nice move there by Tai Takato. Up to 90. Up to 90 goes. You can tell I'm all out of shape right now up here in the commentary box. Apologies. But this is turning out to be quite the day, isn't it? Quite the day. Through Toza, power down, uphill to Piratella. It's wheel to wheel. I think that's Ekimans going for it. Ekimans up against Dion Gouda. And Gouda stays ahead for the moment. So Gouda's got it for the moment. They make their way by. Through very anti-alto chicane. Oh! All out of shape. For some of the leading drivers in this battle. Round the final corner. Can anyone go for some moves? Remember, this is the only race that FRECA get today. They only get 2 on a weekend. Race 1 was yesterday. Race 2 is today. And then they will look set for the next round. And the next round, which will of course be taking place very soon. Of course, we go into summer break, but Jordan Morgan was running you through the calendar earlier on. The incident between Maschio and car number 7, which is Biran Bakti, will be investigated at the end of the race. So that's something to look forward to. Oh, well, not in the case of the driver who's most likely to get penalised. Car 11 and 45, that's Jin Nakamura. And that's Jack Beaton as well. They'll be getting an investigation going. So it's Bora, Slater, and then Di Paolo, Bedrin. Deligny in 3rd. Di Paolo's in 5th. Fastest lap being set by Ashke Bora. That's exactly the response that he needed. If he was going to contend, that's exactly the response that he needed to be able to give on this lap. To try just pull the gap away and force Slater to kind of run out of tyres. But the safety car phase of this has majorly helped our leaders, because, well, everyone in the field, because now they can push on a little bit more. So this phase helping everyone. Over the line we go, and down the start finish straight as I get attacked by a bug coming onto my face. Good thing we're on battle screen. But no, literally a bug just flew onto my face. I removed it. Gravel being kicked up in the background. It's a brawl behind. Is that Ekimans going for it? I think it is. And Yamakoshi getting past Ekimans and Edu Robinson at the same time. Wow. We weren't watching it, but on the timing board we've seen it. And I think I saw a glimpse of it further back as well. Lap comparison. Bora quicker lap 6. Bora quicker lap 7. Bora quicker lap 8. Bora's looking good, isn't he? But he's not eked the gap out to a comfortable margin. That's what I will say. It's still 0.7 of a second. So there is a lot to do for Slater still. And there's a lot to do for Bora if he wants to get himself up into safety in this race. You arrive down into Rivazza, a corner where you have Rivazza 1, then you get to Rivazza 2, then it's foot to the floor. For a straight, that isn't really straight. But once again, as I've mentioned a few times, we'll save that debate for another day. I've not got the energy to be having a debate like that right now, because I've got, well, we've still got, well, I think I've only got one more race today after this. No, two more races. Everything's early on. Yesterday I went up until 8 PM, I think it was. Or 9 PM even. Today everything's done a lot more earlier. Which is a good thing. So relieved, everybody. Anyway, I don't think Bora can be relieved right now because Slater, I think, is getting a response. I think Slater is after a response, so keep an eye on Freddie Slater, the British driver, who is just aiming to get closer and closer to Ashke, who will be chasing his first ever victory in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. Into Variante Alta. Slater continuing to extend his record. But if your name is Bora, there's a big opportunity coming your way. Into Ravazza 1 and 2. And then foot to the floor. Oh, in the background there. Dipping a tyre into the gravel for Jill Terre. As they race their way by. Through a circuit which you, even in a lull period like this, you are having to be on full focus throughout, just due to the old school nature of this circuit. Just due to the old school nature, you just can't put your focus and attention on anything else. You know, you have to be alert at every circuit, but especially this. As we mentioned a few times, everybody, we have a start-finish straight, that isn't straight, so you can't even just go straight for a bit. You have to still turn, you still have to assess where your rival is. You gotta navigate your way through chicanes, Variante Alta being a tough chicane. And then you have some other challenging parts as well, like the start of the lap, the middle of the lap, the entire lap, with gravel nearby. So you have to be really, really cautious in regards to what you do. Pedro Claro making his way round the last turn and looking to see whether there's a chance to improve his position at the moment. Slater gets close. Slater gets close, but not close enough. Up here in the commentary box, I'm just getting through this race at the moment. Fastest lap for Slater. But yeah, when you've been non-stop across so many different circuits and you've had to deal with all the issues that you've had to do today, I'm absolutely exhausted. A bit frustrated because I feel like race controllers let us down and they've messed up our entire Super Cup stream, and Super Cup's been going so well with viewership, so I'm really upset personally of what happened in that session, and I can only apologise to everyone for the mess. Because it was such a good race as well. We've had to sit through races that have had so much lull periods and you're waiting for something to happen. But then there was a race where stuff actually happened and then you just don't get anything. Which was quite a shame. Into the last corner. Let's see how this one's gonna play out. Into the braking zone. And Yamakoshi. Yamakoshi's lost a position to Ecumans, who goes by Aldahari's got past Edith Robinson as well, that's further back. It's 6/10 in the battle for the lead in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. And the season, it's been an interesting one so far, I think that's fair to say. But I'm slightly disappointed that they could not have just put this weekend next week and then put the GB3 one 2 weeks after that. Because then, you know, this weekend would have been so much more simple. I could chill, I could just watch F1. Which, you know, I don't mind missing F1, but it's like, you know, you have other motorsport on. Just spread it out, because now I'm not doing anything for 2 weeks. I feel like after this weekend, I do need 2 weeks off now, because whether it's race control, whether it's TV direction in some series, whether it's other aspects, I've been a little bit depressed, and I feel like I'm really starting to struggle now, mentally as well, emotionally, physically, in every single way possible. I am struggling right now, but I'm gonna try and get through this race. Because, you know, when you do so much work and then things just don't work across the weekend, it's quite sad. When you have struggles on a weekend where it's so busy, and you've scheduled everything, you've planned everything, and then the FIA mess up your system. Which the FIA, which can I just say, they 5 teams in the Porsche Super Cup had no live timings, had no data because of the FIA mess up. So it wasn't just us; it was the FIA messing up everyone. But let's see whether anything can happen at the end. It is the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. One of the more quieter races of the year. I think the new car is definitely needed to try and allow and promote overtaking. Which I think it's fair to say it has been a bit of a struggle with this car. Does Slater have anything? Can Slater find the moment? Would be vital if he can. Into the Virazzas he will go into now. Round the final corner. And now it is going to be foot to the floor towards turn 1. Penultimate lap of the race. Next lap will be the final lap in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. That will be it. So it's now or never. It's now or never for Freddie Slater. Can he give it his all? Can he find the moment? It is Ashke Bora in the lead. But does Slater have it to make the move? Does he have push to pass? Does he have anything to give? He's really closing in, but I think opportunities are running out, aren't they, for Freddie? And it looks like we're heading to a first ever win in FRECA for Ashke Bora. Through the Variante Alta chicane. Some drivers taking more curb. The Virazzas are important. They are critical in who will be taking the checkered flag come the end of this race. And it won't be close enough across the line. This is the final lap of the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine at Imola. And it's a fastest lap being set by Ashke Bora on the penultimate lap. And I think that tells you everything you need to know about how Ashke Bora just kept some within him. In case there was a mistake. In case there was an error for Slater. For himself. just to give himself a bit of a distance. I mean by small errors. Of course, a big error will still be punished because it's 6/10. But he just pushed on, didn't he? Bora pushed on. And he left some in reserve. He knew Slater was going to push hard. But Bora just did enough. It can only be something extraordinary now to deny Ashke Bora. It was only once really on a safety car restart where he came under threat. The start was handled brilliantly. And he's on his way for the winning moment in 2025. Akshay Bora. Well, what a performance from the Indian driver, about to head down to the Ravatsas on the last lap. And unless there's anything that Freddie Slater has arriving into the final few corners, it will be the RHGP driver who will make his way out of Ravatsa 2, will stand on the power, and for the first time in FRECA, Ashke Bora comes across the line to win. He weaves the victory for RHGP, and he's defended from the championship leader, Freddie Slater. It is going to be Deligny in third, Bedrin in fourth, and Matteo Di Paolo takes P5, Claridge in sixth, then it's Gilter, then it's Belov, Tartakotas in 9th, and Dion Gara 10th. What a brilliant race that was, which results in the favour of Ashke Bora. He is the winner, and he will be heading to the largest trophy of the race. And as we've got such a busy schedule, that is it. We thank you all for joining us here in the Formula Regional European Championship by Alpine. It has been quite the race, and it has been a joy to broadcast it to you. Thank you for joining us this round as well. Not just this race, but this round. And we will see you next time out when FRECA returns. Goodbye.